So I think the plans look amazing, love all the green trees. I think that the benches and everything, I think will make Kings Heath nicer and encourage more people to come to Kings Heath, but kind of make the whole area nicer. My only concerns are the parking. Whilst that it's good to widen the pavements, I think that might be redirected on the side roads, and we live off Heathfield, so that's a concern for us. And yeah, that's it. But I do love the plans, so I'm pro plans.
I think it's really good that we hold a consultation process, because I don't think in the past years it was that efficient. You know, there was quite good attendance today, etc. But I think that we should have a little bit more time to speak individually, and also I think there will be more subjects, points to be made on the plan, which I don't think we had the time to. So it was a bit short. As much as they say it's holistic and it's taking into consideration the needs of everyone in the community, I don't think it is, because I don't think there was any provision for the cyclists. I think it was actually against the cyclists and against what they're trying to promote, being Sustrans. And I don't think there was a specific focus on children and local children, which is why I personally asked Sustrans to do. Because I think the local children really need catering for when it comes to road safety and street designs. In other way, I'm really happy with the closing the roads projects, letting the children play outside. Anything that gives the freedom of space and movement for the kids, I'm all for it, so that's all great. And I think they're doing a bit of that as well.
I think so. I'm going to go away and think about it, I think. There's such a lot of entrenched opinions, especially from people that conservative opinions against any change. I mean, they can't see that it's chaos now. They think they're going to change it, and it's going to be chaos. Well, it's chaos already. When they're talking about access for emergency vehicles, it's difficult now. It's not going to be any harder. So, people can't really see what it's. People are always frightened of change.
The overall design's a definite step in the right direction. I was involved in the consultation about 15 or 16 years ago, and some of the things we suggested were put into place, such as the one-way system at the western end of the north end of the High Street, and the narrowed highway by pedestrian crossings. We did suggest a lot of other things that weren't put in place then. I'm hoping that this will kickstart some of those back into people's minds, and we'll be resurrecting them. As a local resident, I'm very concerned about local parking, especially for the residents. And it would be nice if something could be done about that, and possibly introduce one-way systems on the side roads to improve traffic flow on those. Saw them a few weeks ago on the presentation on the High Street. I thought the introduction of the median crossing system was a definite improvement. I think having more crossings will aggravate the drivers, but not necessarily help the pedestrians, because some pedestrians will cross where they want to anyway. On the whole, I think it's very well presented, and it's definitely a good step in the right direction.
Really interesting. I mean, it's obviously very focused, and there are some issues that are really, really important to tackle, but are not part of the work. But given the constraints of what Sustrans are trying to do, I think it's very good. In a sense, I wish it could go a little bit further, basically.
So I'm not terribly enamoured with the provision for cycling. I'm not convinced that Sustrans should be running this, really. I think it's all a lot of design by committee, and I think it's going away from what needs to be done. I just think they're trying to do too much. That's what I'm trying to say. They're trying to do too much, and they just need a clear idea of what to do. Get the traffic through, because it's a through route, as a prime thing, and then I haven't really got a clear opinion overall, so I'm really focused on the cycling aspects.
I'd love to see them work exactly exactly as Jenny's got there. My big concern is what we're going to do with a lot of those 26,000 vehicles that use the high street a day, how we can try and dispel the bigger vehicles, the through traffic, finding another route. We don't want them coming through Kings Heath. Now, whether that's something that needs looking at beyond Birmingham Council or on the network of the motorways, I don't know. We need to look at that. I also think we need to be very careful that we educate both pedestrian and driver. The two have got to work hand in hand. And I know Jenny's brief was quite sort of limited on what she could look at. The issue of the side roads came up tonight, the issue of parking came up, which she didn't really have a remit on. I think there's a lot of other things, like the one that worries me is the pollution levels. You know, it came out tonight, our people were concerned. My wife and I are diagnosed with asthma. 6 or 8 people in our road have been diagnosed with asthma. Why? I think it's traffic on the high street. If we don't kill them by running over them, we'll kill them by pollution. So we've got to get rid of that traffic.
I felt today was a good insight into the plans, and I think plans aren't perfect, but it's a good starter for what Kings Heath needs, because Kings Heath does need really radical change. We've got, throughout the whole of the country, we've got a car culture, and it's about thinking of people before profit, and I think it means the plans, it means quite a bit, and it means that what we can do is we can look at what's worked and what hasn't, and we can adapt it out to Kings Heath as a whole. For example, looking at one-way streets and residential areas and things like that. I think it could have been publicised a bit better, to be honest, but I suppose coming and having residents meetings and that, it's good to open it up, but there've been a lot on the street and that, and yeah, I think it's been quite open.
Yeah, I'm quite encouraged by what I see and what I've heard today about making the high street safer for pedestrians and cyclists and all road users, I think. It'd be interesting to see how it works out and whether it'll achieve the aims it sets out to do, but yeah, I'm quite encouraged. Yeah.